Hello, my name is Master Roxas, and welcome to the Sonic Frontiers 80% Route Guide for Rhea Island, the 4th island in Sonic Frontiers. Unlike every other island, Rhea is actually quite simplistic, as it is a pure test of execution and your skill as a player. The story here is quite minimal, as there's nothing you need to grab or obtain. You just need to shut down all 6 towers as fast as possible. You can actually do the towers in any order, but conveniently for us, the general most recommended route is doing them in the correct order, except that we do take a detour to Tower 4, as you can see on the map, to get to Tower 3 faster. At the end of the video, I will be showing an alternate route that allows you to go from Tower 4 to 6 to 5 back to 3, which some players might want to try doing if you prefer that kind of slingshot. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy watching to see the best way to do Rhea Island, and make sure you keep practicing, because this is a high execution test. You either complete Rhea very, very fast, or, I don't know. Best of luck. Anyway, moving on, I will give a brief overview of how to do the HSP and the slingshot in order to give you the best chances on Rhea Island. Thank you for watching. Alright, utilizing Sonic's stomp ability, let me briefly go over the HSP and the slingshot. So as you may know by now, you can stomp to go over an enemy like that, and if you cancel out of the dodge into a stomp with a boost, you get an HSP. If you get it on the frame perfect, just like that, you'll get a super high HSP, which allows you to go incredibly high, which is on a map where you want to collect towers, very useful. Now, if you want to do a slingshot, you just need to get away from the enemy to extend the target, because that way Sonic goes faster teleporting the enemy. Walking away will not give you this extended lock-on. Mag dashing or homing dashing away will. So when you mag dash or homing dash away from an enemy and then do an HSP, you will go flying horizontally but with great speed. You do not want to hit it on the frame perfect frame. If you do use a frame perfect frame, then you will get a lot of height and distance, which is actually something we can use on this island, like this. This is just a brief overview of the slingshot and HSP. The main inputs are lock onto an enemy with the right stick, dodge with either bumper, press the stomp button to get to teleport to the enemy to do the stomp, and then as you stomp towards the enemy, press the boost to cancel out. Slingshot, you want to boost on a couple frames after pressing the stomp button. For the slingshot, you want to boost as soon as you can on the very first available frame. Now that we're getting into Rhea Island, we're going to go up Tower 1. The best way to get up to Tower 1 is to take this tree right about here near the entrance and go up the left edge of the tree, and you can get a nice trick launch that'll get you all the way up to Tower 1 following this automatic cutscene. Here we're going to be doing the HSP in Tower 1 to get to the top. This HSP is considered many by the community as awful because of the slope. The frame is usually considered the same to get the frame perfect input that you need to go up, but the main issue with the slingshot is the slope, so whenever you fail it and get a late frame, you will actually usually go horizontally a bit, even despite being close, which can make getting back to try again harder and more annoying. But just keep practicing, and eventually you'll be able to consistently nail that first frame to warp straight to the top of Tower 1. Alright, now that we've done Tower 1, we're going to head over to Tower 2. Here, there are 2 options to get to Tower 2. A slightly slower but easier way will be to follow this route to do a trick launch onto that metal platform and do another trick launch all the way to the tower, allowing you to glide to about midway up the tower. You can then boost to get to this dash ring that'll take you up this rail. And then when you get to this rail, you can follow it around as expected, and then right before you get to the end, do a jump right at the right timing to skip all the way to this rail. Do another rail jump again to turn all the way around to get to the spring, and make your way to the top. If you happen to get hit at all, it's not a huge issue, because you can quickly re-grab your rings and then talk to the tower in order to cancel the ring animation. Now, the faster way of getting to Tower 2 is by doing what I consider a DX method, or, extra slingshot that's a little bit harder. It's not too bad once you practice it and understand how it works. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stop immediately instead to get down to this spinny boy enemy right here. And at this spinny boy enemy that we have named Donald, because we're weird, you will want to look around, and if you see that little top of that upside down thing you run on for the tower, you're actually going to aim to land on that with the slingshot, and then slingshot hard to the left to Tower 2. So you want to get about this high above the enemy and angle your camera up, so that when you mag dash down towards that thing, you'll actually be able to land on it. Then immediately input the slingshot right when you land, and you'll be able to skip straight to the top of Tower 2. Thank you, Donald. Alright, up next is going to Tower 4. Actually Tower 3, but we're going to Tower 4 first. The reason why is if you do a trick launch towards Tower 3, you will not make it, just like you will not make it to Tower 4. But the main issue is the reason we don't go to Tower 3 is there are no enemies over there at all, as you may have seen in the drawing in the map that showed where enemy locations are. So, the fastest way to get to the top of Tower 3 is to trick launch over here to go to the bubble shown in the Slingshot explanation, and do a frame-perfect Slingshot off them to get straight to the top of Tower 3. Remember, this is frame-perfect, so it may take you a couple tries to nail it, but if you do it like this, you will get immense speed and height, allowing you to instantly get to the top of Tower 3. This is the fastest known way to get to Tower 3, so keep that in mind if you really want to push your times. Now, you may not want to do this because that is a frame-perfect input, and you already had to do one of those in Tower 1. So if you don't like doing frame-perfect inputs or being stressed about it, another option that you can do is to, after you do the trick launch here, if you want to look in the description, there is a description of how to do the slide launch tutorial, or from the Chronos route guide as well. You can go down to this, and there's a tree that CriticalCyd found that you are able to do a slide launch off of. And when you do a slide launch off this tree right here of this pair on the right, you'll be able to get right up there to where those Spinny Boy enemies are that we use. That Spinny Boy up there that we use is named Goofy, because we use him quite a lot. So you're going to come up here, and you can take this enemy right here, and go to that area where you see where the water ends to that peninsula of land. And when you do a mag dash here, hold boost the whole time, and stomp while holding boost. Right when you land, do the Slingshot input up to go straight to Tower 3 as well. When you get to Tower 3, just let go of boost, and the rest of the speed will be converted into height. If you don't make it all the way to Tower 3, which sometimes you might if you're too far to the left like I was, you can just easily land on the rail to get the spring. This is an easy and simple way to get to Tower 3 that does not require frame-perfect input. Alright, up next is Tower 4. So after Tower 3, you can immediately do a trick launch to Tower 4. And once again, you'll be given two options, a slightly faster way to the top of Tower 4, doing a frame-perfect HSP input, and a slightly slower but more consistent way that does not require frame-perfect. Using this laser turret, you can just do a frame-perfect HSP input, and skip straight to the top of Tower 4, kill the enemy, and it's done. Now, if you're not a fan of forcing yourself to do frame-perfect inputs because it's, as I said, frame-perfect and 60 frames per second can be quite annoying to do, or if you want, you can switch your frame rate to 30, but that is a time loss. From Tower 3, when you do the trick launch, instead of going slightly to the right to get to that laser turret, you can go slightly to the left instead, and stomp back down to go back to the same Spinny Boy, Goofy. And you can use Goofy, again, and do the exact same Slingshot that you did to go towards Tower 3 if you did that method. And if you didn't do that method, then it's the same thing where you just go towards the peninsula land behind you, stomp, but the second you let go of the Slingshot, let go immediately of boost. Then all that speed gets converted to height, and you basically use the Slingshot that turned into an HSP, and you're able to get to the top of Tower 4 without needing a frame-perfect input. Alright, up next for the main route method is to go to Tower 5. So we are going to once again boost towards Tower 5 and stomp immediately to return once again to our favorite Spinny Boy, Goofy. So stomping all the way down, you're going to instead use the Goofy Slingshot in order to go to Tower 5, which the angle is down to right, is about pretty much mostly down with a slight bit of right. Same thing is you're going to want to aim towards that peninsula of land and just outside the water. Boost away with your mag dash, hold boost the whole time, stomp, and then let go of the mag dash, and let go. When you do this, you can then let go when you get to Tower 5 to turn all the extra speed into height, and make it to the top of Tower 5. Nice and easy. Following Tower 5 is we're going to go straight to Tower 6. And there's another Slingshot from Tower 5 to Tower 6, and this Spinny Boy's name is Fernando. So you're going to stop all the way down to the ground level of Tower 5, all the way to the bottom. Hit up on this rail right here. There's Fernando right there. Do a mag dash to the upward right and stop as you get just past the tower towards the tree line. And then hold down right on your control stick to do a Slingshot straight to Tower 6. Let go right when you get close to it to convert the extra speed into height. And just like that, Rhea Island is complete. And with Rhea complete, that is the end of the guide. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you best of luck of learning Rhea Island, and hope you pass that execution test. As Sonic gets corrupted, I'd like to also give a shout out to Phanz that helped me with making the map for the video and editing, and as well as the thumbnail. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the Ornos guide come. Following this segment of the video is going to be a short segment that explains the alternate method of slingshots that I mentioned earlier, where you go from towers 4 to 6 to 5 back to 3 instead of going from tower 4 to 3 and then back to 4. The alternate route would then you either want to use the tree slingshot or an HSP off the bubble to get to top of tower 4, and then you can do this alternate method if this is what you prefer. So you would go to the goofy slingshot instead, and instead of going to tower 5, you would go to tower 6. Same exact type of slingshot, except that you're going to hold straight down, and you'll be able to make it all the way to tower 6 instead. From tower 6 to tower 5 is a slightly annoying slingshot in my opinion, but it is very doable. You will need to do a similar slingshot to akin to the tower 2 slingshot. So you're going to stomp down to get to this enemy right here on this platform. Do a slingshot to the right and stomp to land on that platform. When you land on this platform, immediately do a slingshot up to make it to the top of tower 5. And then to go from tower 5 to tower 3 in this alternate route would be you just immediately stomp back down to the bottom and to use the Fernando slingshot. But instead of going to tower 6, you'll hold up on your control stick instead to make it all the way to tower 3, thus completing Rhea Island in an alternate way if that is what you prefer. Either way, practice Rhea a lot. It is a high execution test, and I hope you nail this. You got it. Once again, see everybody in Ornos.